A very good afternoon to you all. Thank you for joining us for the weekly Roundup Bulletin, the bulletin that puts together those headline stories that made news throughout the week. My name is Wadulo, Mark Arnold, and sit tight. We're going to be with you for the next 1 hour. And without further ado, these are the stories. To start off, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni was this weekend in the Republic of Congo on a working visit at the invitation of his counterpart, the Republic of Congo's President Denis Sassou Nguesso. President Denis Sassou Nguesso received the President Museveni and his delegation at Oyo Olombo International Airport. The two leaders later held bilateral meetings at the President Sassou Nguesso's official residence in Oyo Olombo ahead of their formal delegation's meeting. These are some of the highlights. Amazing. In other news, the Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Robina Nabbanja, asked the public to embrace government programs to enhance the development of the country. The Premier made these remarks at a fundraising function for Chitezo Catholic Church in Isinjiro district this weekend, where she also managed to intervene and solve a land conflict between the church and the community. These are the details.
The Prime Minister, Right Honourable Robina Nabbanja, was a chief guest at a fundraising function organized by Chitezo Catholic Church in Isinjiro district with an aim to solicit for funds for the church's rehabilitation. During the function, the clergy of Chitezo Catholic Church requested the Premier to intervene and solve a land conflict that has existed for over 40 years between the church and one of its community members, which she managed to settle amicably. She proposed that the government compensate the community member who claims ownership of the land to avoid relocating the church and for purposes of creating peace in the area, which decision was welcomed by both parties.
Tunga abantu baitu iwe commissioner watu omukyalo oyo mangu okutandika n'olwaleero omukazi oyo tumuwe sente nga government abantu ekerezia kati nkoze kiragiro because my word is final. Omukyala tumuwe ettaka ekerezia n'abakatuliki babere n'emirembe gyabwe ono naye afune wagula abere n'emirembe.
The Prime Minister also asked the community to embrace government programs in order to improve their household incomes and welfare.
Ayize akurora abantu baitu abandi koze tukozire ebintu byona abandi tibakatungire sente. Hatya amwezi kundu tukujja kutongoza ebiro 26 okwo mu district ya Kibuku. Tujja kutandika na milioni 17 buli muruka. Abantu basobole kwehola esente ezo basobole kwekulakulaniza ekyo tekikwetaaga engalo.
The clergy thanked the Prime Minister for her decisiveness in solving the land dispute and called for harmony and peaceful coexistence in the community. The family of the late Kwatiraho, which was claiming ownership of the land, also thanked the Prime Minister for resolving the conflict and sought reconciliation.
Kwasima kandi mukama konjera muki. Abakristo ba Chitezo bajenzi okusasirana kusasirane.
The woman member of parliament for Itsinjiro district, Honorable Claire Mugumya, lauded the Prime Minister's leadership style and for her commitment to solving challenges being faced in the country.
Prime Minister
the Premier contributed 6.5 million Uganda shillings towards the fundraising drive. The event was also attended by the RDC for Isinjiro District, Mohanji Habat, the Assistant Commissioner for the Lands Commission, Becca Mugaino, and other government officials. Doreen Nasasra reporting for UBC News.
The Ministry of Health this weekend delivered a multitask tuberculosis therapy machine to Mityana General Hospital as part of the President Museveni's pledge towards the facility. The consignment was delivered by the Lands Minister Judith Nabakova.
Lands Minister Judith Nabakova recently delivered a medical facility to Mityana General Hospital following an abrupt visit by the Premier to the facility that exposed its below average health services. Since then, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has directed the Ministry of Health to accord the hospital basic requirements. Now the Ministry of Health through the Lands Minister Judith Nabakova has delivered another medical consignment to the hospital.
This equipment is a fully-fledged X-ray machine. It takes chest X-rays for TB screening. If you have heard in the media before, TB out in the community, people are not coughing, but people have tuberculosis. So this X-ray is mobile.
I want to thank Dr. General Paching, who has been at the center of seeing that what the President directed must be fulfilled in Mityana district.
The Lands Minister was flanked by Mityana district chairperson.
It's the main hospital, regional hospital, but imagine when a patient comes here, if you want to make checkups, they have to go outside and pay for the service. Then they come back and get medication or treatment in this hospital. So here I want to thank the government for thinking about Mityana.
And the beauty, it can be moved from one place to another. Meaning that as the district, if you plan well, then services can be even taken to our health center for us. We mobilize the communities to go there for the chest X-ray, and they can be in position to know their lives better.
The tuberculosis X-ray and therapy machine is estimated at $120,000 US.
Identifies mainly TB, but also it can identify ribs that are broken. It can identify a pneumonia. It can identify an enlarged heart. But for now, it is able to only do the chest.
Residents and patients hailed the government for the gesture.
Sanyufunga kansa w'ekitundu kino okubanga abantu bange bafunye ekyuma tebagenda kuddamu kufiira mu kkubo nga bagenda mu bende.
Ne kati tuwulira essanyu lingi nnyo okulaba nga tufunye ekyuma ate n'ebirala bijja n'eddagala abeewo omwana wattu Nabakooba.
However, the event nearly turned into a political stage as patients and residents chanted and praised Minister Nabakooba for bridging the gap for service delivery between government and the districts. Mityana residents and some opinion leaders, however, wanted the facility uplifted to the regional referral hospital so that it can offer better services. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
The State Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Godfrey Kabyanga, this weekend advised schools against chasing away pregnant girls out of class. Kabyanga says that pregnant girls should be allowed to continue with their studies. These are the details.
The 2-year lockdown due to COVID-19 pandemic left a number of girls pregnant and others engaging in early marriage. The State Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Godfrey Kabyanga, now advises schools to allow pregnant students stay at school, including those breastfeeding, to continue with their studies. He said this during a meeting with the school management and students of Mutanywana Senior Secondary School in Bukonzo County, East in Kasasa District.
But I would like to request the school management, please, the children who came back pregnant, don't chase them away. We are all sinners. That's why the reverends are there. To keep preaching to us that we should come, that we should leave what we are doing and turn to the road.
The management of Mutanywana SS said the school needs support from government in terms of infrastructure and teachers.
So one of our major urgent needs of the school is one, a science laboratory, and then 2 classroom blocks. And this is what we have presented to the minister.
Bukonzo County East MP Harold Tone Muhindo accompanied the minister and pledged to work closely with government in ensuring that the school gets a computer lab for a better learning environment.
We have pledged a number of things here together with the minister to follow up with the government to ensure that there is allocation of funds in the subsequent budgetary allocations. We have also said we are going to follow with the Ministry of ICT to ensure that this school gets a computer laboratory. It is very necessary. You are aware that computer is a compulsory subject now right away from Senior 1.
Mutabari Moses, Irene Nakungu for UBC News.
The UPDF and FADC joint military operation against the Allied Democratic Force rebels is raising much hope in violence-laden Northeast and Democratic Republic of Congo. The Congolese have reacted positively to the operations aimed at eradicating the ADF rebels from the DRC.
UPDF troops escorted by combat vehicles crossed into Democratic Republic of Congo in Brassi using the newly installed ferry at Haibale landing site on River Semrik. While addressing the forces at Brassi landing site in Democratic Republic of Congo, Operation Suja Commander Major General Kayanja Muhanga said that the offensive action is aimed at hunting for scattered ADF rebels.
Action of today marks phase 2 of the operation. Phase 1, of course, we dealt with the enemy seriously. He got a lot of casualties. He's scattered now. He's mobile, and he's trying to overstretch our forces. So that the enemy now has scattered, we had to roll into phase 2 of the operation to form sectors. Now we have 3 sectors where we are going to operate, where the enemy is.
General Kayanja added that ADF must surrender and enjoy the presidential amnesty still in place.
Of course, what we are telling the ADF is that they should first of all report, because there is that amnesty that government put that is still in place for them to report to us or to the FADC forces. Otherwise, if one is captured, that means he has to go to prison and he will face the courts of law.
Major General Kayanja revealed that the road from Burasi to Boga stretches of 50 kilometers, which was impassable, is being worked on jointly with FRDC. The road will connect Mbau, Oucha, Elingeti, Kainama, Chabi, Olamoyo, River Semrik Bridge up to Mukakati. The joint Operation Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo started from Mobile border point to Kamango, Mukakati to Kambeyayuwa into Virunga Forest. Haruna Mutesasira, UBC News.
In another related development, the overall commander Operation Shuja, Major General Kayanja Muhanga, this week rolled out the third offensive approach route against the ADF. Now, this is the third joint operation assault on the Allied Democratic Forces rebels in the eastern DRC, conducted jointly with FADC Army.
The northeastern part of Democratic Republic of Congo has continued to suffer the consequence of armed conflicts since late 1990s. Despite having an elected government in Kinshasa, the country still faces challenges in consolidating peace throughout its territory. The eastern regions of Democratic Republic of Congo has repeatedly and consistently experienced high insecurity and repeated incidents of violence.
Ndio batengeneze kama askari shakuya anakuja tutaingia watatengeneza askari shakandani.
Hakuna shida. Sasa mebaki wewe kuja utengeneze sehemu ile namna tukubaliana.
Since 30th November 2021, Uganda People's Defense Force and Congolese Army FARDC have been engaged in a fight against Allied Democratic Force rebel group accused of terrorism and forcing children to participate in armed hostilities. This situation provided opportunities for the UPDF in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo in pursuit of the rebels conducting joint operations with FARDC army.
We want us to work together hand in hand so that we get the locations of enemy so that we can flush them out. Let them give us information because they are our ears and eyes in this operation.
Congolese, on the other hand, welcomes the joint military operations between UPDF and FARDC army for a lasting peace.
Wana wasoda namna wanakia tuona, wanafurahi sana. Maeneo yetu kila siku mauaji.
Mauaji kutoka wapi?
Kutoka kule bandari kutuua kila siku.
They have suffered for decades as a result of conflicts of armed rebel groups.
Si tumekuwa masikini sababu ya hawa watu. Si hatutaki hawa watu watoke kule ili na sisi tena tukue vizuri. Wandugu wetu wanakufa na njaa, wanakufa na magonjwa sababu ya kukosa vya kukula. Asante.
Hapa sisi na sisi tuko na mwili kama ya kwako. Na damu iko kama ya kwako. Na tumekuja tufanye pamoja tuone kwamba adui anaisha. Si ndio hiyo?
UPDF troops are still in the thick forests since the beginning of the operation on the 30th November 2021. The Operation Suja's focus is to eliminate the ADF and create a conducive environment for the citizens of both countries. Haruna Mutesa Sira, UBC News.
Members of the Acholi parliamentary group, led by their chairman, also MP Kilak North, Anthony Akol, this week demanded for an apology from the leadership of the National Unity Platform Party for being behind the protests in the USA against the treatment of the Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Olanya. They have vowed to block NUP leaders from accessing the Acholi sub-region.
Anthony Akol, Clark North FDC, Lucy Akelo, Amuru District Woman FDC, Dennis Anguzo, Marach County FDC, abandoned the opposition boycott, which was announced by the leader of opposition, also MP Nyendo, Mukungwe Mathias Mpuga, last week and attended the parliamentary sitting. These MPs have Wednesday addressed a press conference and explained why they had to attend Tuesday's plenary sitting.
On the issue of boycott in Parliament, as a person, I was not consulted. But I go with collective responsibility. And that's the reason why, before we went to the House, we consulted the leader of opposition.
They now want the leader of opposition to apologize to them.
Who happened to be the Speaker of the Parliament, this Parliament. There were a lot of issues coming about his health. Some people were saying he's dead. Others are saying he's on oxygen. Some people are even saying he died on the way. He has been poisoned. So I raised the issue to the Deputy Speaker, who decided that she's going to communicate in the House yesterday.
The discrimination, and I'm praying hard that it is not Snoop that organized that demonstration in the US.
In the same presser, they expressed displeasure with the leadership of National Unity Platform for allegedly mobilizing their supporters in USA to protest the treatment of the Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Olanya. Some actually MPs vowed to block the leadership of NUP from crossing to their region.
Basindika sente mpitirivu wano mu ggwanga basasula omusolo so zino sente zaabwe zibakwatako so tebetaaga NUP kusooka bagamba nti akakati mwekalakaase.
However, the NUP party spokesperson Joel Senyonyi has distanced the party from masterminding the Sito protests against the Speaker Jacob Oulanyah, but justified the cause for protests and made it clear that NUP will not apologize.
The Supreme Court this week ordered the central bank to return Crane Bank to its owners. The February 11, 2022 ruling brings to an end the long-standing commercial dispute between the businessman Sudhir Ruparelia and the Ugandan bank regulator dating back to 2017. Deborah Namamonde with more on the story.
The Supreme Court has dismissed with cost the case filed by Bank of Uganda against business mogul Sudhir Ruparelia and Meli Investments Limited. Court upheld the lower court decision and the orders made against the applicant.
Like we observed before, the Blasio decision dealt with the issue of parties consenting to withdraw their actions, but at the same time set general principles of application. If an appellant chose to withdraw his appeal, the effect is that the decision of the lower court remains standing. Consequently, the Court of Appeal decision and the orders it made from which the instant appeal emanates stand.
Sudhir Ruparelia now remains the owner of Crane Bank Limited as a company. However, not the bank itself.
Before we take leave of this matter, we note that the Court of Appeal made orders to the effect that the receivership of the appellant had ended on 20th July 2018. The implication of that finding, in our view, is that the management of the appellant reverted to the shareholders after the 20th of January 2018. In the result, this appeal is dismissed with costs to the respondent in the terms found by the lower courts.
Lawyers representing Sudhir Ruparelia were pleased with court's ruling.
First of all, he lost his bank, which actually should never have lost it because of the mistakes of officers of the Bank of Uganda. And he has had to endure the 5 years gauntlet of fighting this massive case.
Bank of Uganda has stolen money in the name of Crane Bank. Even the Auditor General has made a report to say out of 476 billion they claim they put in Crane Bank, 290 billion is unaccounted. It never reached Crane Bank. And even the other money which they say it's reached Crane Bank, it's not accounted for.
The presiding justices in this matter include Opio Aweli, Faith Monda, Lilian Tebatemwa Ekirikubinza, Ezekiel Muhanguzi, and Justice Person Knight Twice. Bank of Uganda was represented by Counsel Margaret Chisule, Yita Simulindwa, Josephine Sumbe, and Joseph Luboyera, who ran out of our cameras after court. The ruling was read by the Supreme Court Registrar, Mary Babirye. Deborah Namamonde, Nantongo Rebecca, UBC News.
And then vandals this week stole electric wires of a three-phase line interconnecting Kasanda district. The incident has affected business flow, petrol stations, hotels, welding and fabrications, among others. Leaders are now seeking for the intervention of Umeme to have electricity flow restored.
Despite being a few kilometers away from the vibrant Mityana district, Kasanda Town Council is experiencing darkness after suspected vandals stole electricity lines connecting the area on the national grid. The theft of the three-phase electricity wire between Wabikere and Mianzi has now disrupted the businesses in the area already experiencing water shortage. Dust within the town council, among other challenges.
ate n'abasuubuzi abasinga bambi abakozesa amasanyalaze baavuwadde njagala muliro nga nnungi njagala amasanyalaze njagala enkulankulana nga fe tukwatiddeko n'ekyamuzima kakati enfuufu ekikuba ebinnya bikuba amasanyalaze amazzi.
The proprietors of hotels have also adversely affected and need urgent intervention by the way of electricity reconnection to operate businesses in the hotels.
The load is okay, but the load, there's too much dust on it, and if you have too much dust on the road, which means you can't have a good service for the hotel and the entire district. So we need to have the nice roads, that is Tamaka Road, as a Kasanda district, and for the case of the power, let those people who is concerned to arrange that thing of the power thing.
The Kasanda district chairperson Zimula Kasiri condemned the theft of electricity wires, which has affected people's businesses in the district.
As we talk, we have talked to some individuals and organizations to bring development in Kasanda. We are going to tarmac some kilometers around the city, at least to reduce on the dust that is flying around the town. We are happy and privileged that some people from Kasanda have decided to develop Kasanda. At least as you move around, you can see some arcades and some stored houses within Kasanda. Chato gave us a hotel where we can accommodate our visitors, and the others are still coming up.
Despite the fact that several town councils in Kasanda district are dropping fast, the need for electricity, good roads and water supply remain a key demand by the community. Abdul Nasir Lubwama and Fred Kasivanti for UBC News.
The Iteso community this week was called upon to remain calm as the process of the official send-off of the fallen cultural leader Emorimo Papa Augustine Osuban takes course. The call aims at preventing any possibility of disagreements in the process of finding a successor to the throne of the Iteso Cultural Union. Member of Parliament for Chibale County in Palisa District, Richard Oseku, proposes a convention for all Iteso in and outside Uganda before a successor is named.
The Thursday afternoon sitting of Parliament,
may his soul rest in eternal peace,
saw legislators praise the deceased leader of the Iteso Cultural Union as a uniting factor amongst his subjects. This is the kind of unity, among other attributes, that they want maintained even after the Emorimori Papa Augustine Osuban is long gone.
He was a source of inspiration to many, and he was a humble leader who really mobilized everybody.
He negotiated, discussed with the president, and also engaged other cultural leaders to ensure there is peace.
This comes as talks of succession are beginning to emerge. Members of Parliament have suggestions on which kind of Emorimori should succeed Papa Augustine Osuban.
There are people who now want to take advantage, using their money, using their influence to try and grab this seat for their own glorification. This will be a terrible mistake. Teso people must look for a down-to-earth person from amongst themselves who can continue to maintain this unity together.
Both MPs from within and outside Teso want the next Emorimori to be one that rallies subjects behind hard work, unity and development.
I want to call upon the people of Teso that as we mourn the Emorimo, let's think about a cultural leader that will reunite you, that will unite the country, that will bring back the cultural heritage of Teso region.
By nature, the Teso Cultural Institution and the position of Emorimo is competed for, and an election is done. But for me, in the best interest of the institution and for the Atekeri, ITESO, it would be better if we had a succession by consensus.
But to achieve this, all that is required of the ITESO is calmness as the country proceeds with the burial arrangements.
As of now, we don't have a caretaker, and in situations like this, the duties fall back in the hands of the Ekirigi, who is the Prime Minister of the institution.
I would like also to appeal to our people that let's respect the institution first of all, let's respect the structures, and also the constitution which is governing the institution. So given all that, I don't think there's any disunity at all. Though there can be one or two, that one is common.
Emorimori Augustine Osuban died recently at Mulago National Referral Hospital, and his burial is slated for Saturday next week. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Makerere University wants the government to amend the University and Institutions Act to widen autonomy of academic institutions and empowers it to govern its bodies. At the inaugural lecture of marking 100 years of the university, the Vice-Chancellor Makerere University, Professor Barnabas Nawangwe, explained some of the limitations brought by what he termed as the rigid clauses of the Act.
The inaugural lecture of marking 100 years of Makerere University focused on the legal perspective on the role of governing councils in the management of higher education institutions. The Attorney General of Uganda, Kiriwa Kiwanuka, graced the function and presented on the harmonization of different structures within universities.
But you have identified the other players outside your space. There's government, there's parliament, there's the people. So we can use the consultative approach where on some of the matters which we think will become controversial.
Attorney General recommends the amendment of University and Institutions Act for autonomous operations.
Section 31 needs to be reviewed because while Section 31 says that the Vice-Chancellor shall be responsible for the academic, administrative and financial affairs of the university, Section 33 provides that the University Secretary will be the accounting officer.
The nature of choosing these university councils was challenged too, as academia proposed a review of the qualifying sitting members.
Accession to council should not be seen as a popularity contest. This needs to be reviewed. You can be very popular but very unuseful, for lack of a better word.
Makerere University is facing high debt rate emanating from litigation processes. The university wants the government to take on these clearances through the Office of the Attorney General.
All the other government institutions are defended by the Attorney General. Why can't Makerere be defended by the Attorney General?
If we find that a public officer has done something which is blatantly wrong, we apply to the court to join them as third parties. So that if judgment is entered against government, that person is held personally liable. The government doesn't have a bottomless pit of money for it to keep picking and paying for wrong decisions. If it is a wrong decision, it is acceptable. If it is a negligent decision, we will not carry that burden.
At the event, the Guild President of the University, Shamimu Nambasa, echoed the need for the university administration towards students' voices. She wants the university to recall all the suspension orders from the university. Vice-Chancellor Professor Barnabas Nawangwe promised audience.
I want to publicly request that the students that were suspended be reinstated because we do not believe that they were suspended basing on the right judgment. I want to request that the university openly comes out and tells us why it remains closed when the rest of the economy is open.
I openly declare that I will give audience to the Guild President and all her cabinet, like I have done all these days. I have met the Guild President, Shamim Nambasa, more times than I met all the other Guild Presidents all the time they were here.
Makerere University was established in 1922, and the celebrations to mark 100 years have come at a time when the university is hustling to reconstruct the iconic Ivory Tower building, which caught fire on the 20th of September 2020. Abdul Nasir Lubwama, UBC News.
The National Curriculum Development Center and the Ministry of Education and Sports this week rolled out the lower secondary school curriculum in February 2020, aiming at producing graduates with employable skills. The acting director, Directorate of Industrial Training, Patrick Byakatonda, says that the Directorate developed 79 various occupations that will be assessed under the lower secondary curriculum come 2023.
The acting director, Directorate Industrial Training, Patrick Byakatonda, says learners will be subjected to vocational training to prepare them for gainful employment.
The purpose of the lower secondary curriculum is to equip a secondary school graduate with employable skill, but also to recognize prior learning, such that learning starts at an early age. If you are to become an entrepreneur, you should start from an early age.
Byakatonda was sensitizing students and teachers of St. Joseph's SS Nagalama in Mukono district on the new curriculum setup. The curriculum will equip learners with employable skills while still at school so that they can start up an income-generating activity when out of school.
The two certification is very good. One is for the world of work, and the DIT complements UNEB. It is not competing with UNEB, it just complements. So if you have two certificates, one during vacation you can work when you are certified. Can give an example of if you have a level 1 domestic electrician, you can go to ERA, you register, you get a wireman certificate, and you start earning early. Then two, you can have two different routes. You can decide to take a vocational line or an academic line.
The deputy head teacher, academics, St. Joseph's Nagalama SS Amone Venancio says the new curriculum has made the education sector more practical.
We're trying as much as possible to make students do things in a more practical manner, enabling them to acquire the practical skills which have been missing in the educational setup of this country. I must say that so far so good. By the time these people complete O-level, they should be having employable skills. We should be able to make them get jobs or to create jobs for themselves. So the new curriculum is the right way to go.
8 selective subjects for the start that are to be assessed by the Directorate of Industrial Training include agriculture, art and design, entrepreneurship, performing arts, nutrition and food technology, ICT, physical education, technology and design. Students will get a DIT certificate at the end of Senior 3. Sudat Kaye, Henry Moganga, UBC News.
The District Education Officer, Alebtong District, is under investigation over abuse of the funds in the Education Department. Moses Olwit was this week handed over to the police CID in Alebtong by the State Minister for Sports, Dennis Hamson Obua, during his support monitoring visit to the district.
The Criminal Investigation Department will do a random sampling of schools you reportedly visited.
Police in Alebtong district is currently investigating the district education officer over suspected siphoning of cash from the Ministry of Education. This was unearthed during a political support supervision initiated by the Ministry of Education and Sports to assess the impact of releases sent to the districts.
Under your supervision,
it drew a number of participants in the education sector, although the numbers began reducing when the minister and MPs from the district continued to grill the officers who began escaping one by one from the room. Trouble started when the status report read by Kao Simon Bimbona did not include the 30 million shillings sent by the Ministry for Sporting Activities.
That is the biggest temptation. We have been sending this money. Where has it been going?
The minister was also shocked to realize that money sent under school facility grant was diverted to some secondary schools and also used for construction of a resource center at the district, yet several primary schools are in ruins. However, the district planner explained that sometimes the technical officers are arm-twisted by the politicians. Obua was also concerned with the inspection report that indicated that 68 schools were visited in a period of 9 days at a cost of 60 million shillings.
Does this supreme body operate outside the laws of Uganda?
Yes, we shall stop their resources for primary schools.
Which children will come and sit at the resource center?
Please let us accept corrections that are positive.
Because the moment we deviate, that is when we start going wrong.
In 2015, Aleptong district had a budget of 12 billion, but currently the budget has grown to 28 billion, although the performance has remained trivial.
So I would want to be associated with the excellence associated with the Aleptong district.
We want to team up so that we work together, because each time the PLA results is released, you find we're in the second last position.
We must be able to move on the ground, to look at input, funds released, vis-a-vis output, how they are spent, and the outcome, value for money.
The Ministry of Education and Sports has kick-started its new initiative to traverse all the districts in the country to spot-check the utilization and impact of funds sent by the ministry to the district education departments. Edioloa, UBC News.
Or action in
The weekly roundup bulletin shall now take a short commercial break, and we'll be back with more in business. Stay tuned.
MBs are now bigger MBs only on MTN. When you load a daily bundle of 250 shillings, you no longer get 15 MBs, you get 25 MBs. For 500 shillings, you no longer get 40 MBs, you get 65 MBs. For 1,000 shillings, it's no longer 100 MBs, it's 165 MBs. Dial *150 *10 hash or use the My MTN app to load bigger daily bundles only on MTN.
COVID-19 is still here with us. As Sheikh Ramadan Muwajjeh, the Mufti of Uganda, states, let us all take the necessary precautions.
Prevention is always better than cure. Let's not go for prayers in mosques, congregational prayers, unless we are masked. Carry your own prayer mat, sanitize at the entrance. Let's all value the gift of life.
Because of the new COVID-19 circulating variants like Omicron, it is very important for all of us to be fully vaccinated with 2 doses of the same vaccine type. It's only those getting Johnson & Johnson who receive only a single dose to be fully protected.
Even after vaccination, continue to adhere to all SOPs by wearing a mask properly, covering your mouth and nose, washing your hands regularly with soap and clean water or using an alcohol-based sanitizer, maintaining physical distance of at least 2 meters from others and avoiding crowds. Echa COVID-19, chija kugwa. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF and partners.
Start the year off with My Airtel 4G smartphone. You get to enjoy free 1 GB data valid for a month and 100% bonus data every month for 3 months at only 250,000 Uganda shillings. This includes free data spread over 3 months worth 86,500 Uganda shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 Uganda shillings only. Visit the nearest Airtel shop and get one today. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. You're still watching the weekly news roundup here on UBC TV. We'll now take you to more in the world of business that transpired this week. The United Arab Emirates this week committed to collaborate with Uganda in the trade and business sphere for mutual benefit. This was disclosed at a meeting held between officials from the Uganda government and a business delegation on a working visit in Ras Al Khaimah, the largest city and capital of the Emirate of Ras Al Khaimah. Details follow.
The Ugandan Trade and Business Delegation, currently on a roadshow in the United Arab Emirates, have had candid discussions on boosting trade ties with their counterparts from Ras Al Khaimah Chamber of Commerce. Ras Al Khaimah is the largest city and capital of the Emirate of Ras Al Khaimah, UAE, and also the 6th largest city after Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, Al Ain, and Ajman.
Because if we make money, that money can disappear at any time, but partnership, connecting to people, knowledge sharing, knowledge transfer is at the heart of business and economic development nowadays.
We also have the Hass variety that our farmers are now engaged into growing, and it's coming on board. So we are able to supply you, depending on the size and the shape of the avocado that you might want, and in the quantities you have. Now, Uganda, next to South Africa, almost has 4 seasons of avocado.
A popular tourist attraction located about 100 kilometers from Dubai, RAK is also known for the commercial processing of dates, a fruit with unrivaled health benefits.
Some studies saying that whatever the nutrition is available in the universe, it's all available in dates.
It's on this backdrop that the Ugandan delegation added a tour of the Khat dates processing factory in its broad itinerary. According to the management, Uganda is one of the importers of their finished products.
As opposed to us standard bodies whipping people to follow standards, I see voluntary compliance, a voluntary commitment because they believe they must meet the market requirements, and that's the message we need to give to our private sector. That standard is good for business, is not good for the standard body. So you must voluntarily adopt standards to be able to compete on the market worldwide.
We came here to show to the international world what we do, and I'm sure this visit and our later visits to such kind of countries where we can sell our products will be very successful. We are gearing up to that. The people appreciated our presentations, and these presentations were made with a lot of effort. And I think we are in the right direction.
The working visit by the Ugandan businesses and government is a strategic move of marketing Uganda to the UAE during post-pandemic recovery.
If we need to explore what we could do together, it is much viable or better for us to think ahead and think out of the box. What can be done in this region? What are the success stories that we can showcase from both countries? What can be done? How can we connect? And through whom can we connect?
Dennis Sigoa for UBC News in Ras Al Khaimah in the United Arab Emirates.
Furthermore, Ministry of Tourism this weekend launched the Aloysia Organic Ecotourism Center, aimed at educating and training people to use herbal medicine. Sophie Balijuka Kayongo, in charge of the product development and investment at Uganda Tourism Center, says that they are to market Aloysia Ecotourism Center locally and internationally.
Uganda is blessed with nature and the best eco-friendly tourist destination with a wide range of medicines. Aloysia Organic Ecosystem Tourism Center has been launched to explore the healing activities that nature has. Sophie Balijuka Kayongo from Uganda Tourism Board says the Ecosystem Center is timely given the diversity of species it has and its medical purposes.
Travelers are looking out for healing products, for products that are conserving environment, for products that are preserving the environment, for products that are protecting the environment. So an ecotourism product presents these opportunities to travelers who want to reconnect back to nature, but also explore the healing opportunities that nature provides, because that we learned from COVID that most of the medicines that we crave for are found in nature. So this is a timely initiative by Aloysia, and Uganda Tourism Board appreciates that timely initiative. So as the Uganda Tourism Board, we pledge our support.
The Ecotourism Center is sitting on 49 acres of land with students being trained the use of herbal medicines, with proprietors optimistic to create revenue and more awareness.
These young men and women who are studying here are not only coming here like they are on tourism. No, they are coming here actually to learn how to treat Ugandans. Why should we be dependent on foreign people to come and treat our people here? We have got the brains, we have got the body, we have got the ability, we have got nature.
The center has over 500 species, including Centella asiatica, locally known as Kabokamwala, Karika papaya, commonly known as Ehipapali in Lusoga language, and Papali in Luganda, among others.
The beauty of the place is that we are putting it out there to the world to be able to recognize it. Our websites are going to be open very soon, and the idea is to ignite. We are igniting something, and we are sure that this fire is going to be a contagious kind of fire which will spread and be able to inspire many other people to embrace ecotourism. We want to really appreciate National Drug Authority in this 10-year celebration. We have had a lot of ventures organized with National Drug Authority, a number of audits done, a number of visits, a number of trainings. And to us, this growth and this journey is also credited to them.
Ugandans have also been urged to desist from negative propaganda about herbal medicine.
Herbal medicine is the way to go, has less side effects, it's less toxic. Herbal medicine is good to those diseases eziba zitandika obutandisa okuluma ezitagenze under surgery.
The launch of Aloysia Ecotourism Center coincided with the 10 years of Aloysia Organic, with proprietors vowing to come up with more innovations. Sudat Kai, UBC News.
Border borders will not be allowed to operate without a driving permit come July 2022. The State Minister for Kampala, Chofato Gavye Kabuye, says that permits will only be given to only those that will undergo a training. The minister, who was addressing the media in Kampala, also enumerated the issues affecting the border industry in the country.
In a bid to ensure sanity and orderliness in Mbale City, the authorities have embarked on streamlining border business in the new city. David Chasanku, the Mbale City clerk, says some border riders are not equipped with riding skills, thus causing accidents on the road.
Everybody wakes up from home and he has got some money, or they have bought him a board, jumps on the board and starts on the road. Roads have rules. When you are riding, for example, when you are driving cars, we go through a driving school. Do we have a driving school for borders? If it is there, where is it? Do our young men and women and all olders who are entering border, are they initiated into the business? We need a law now under the Traffic Act purposely for borders.
Mbale City Resident City Commissioner Ahmad Awashaki asserts that wrong elements are hiding in the border business.
We have an influx of borders who come from the village to the city. We are going to sit down, undertake a process of registering them and knowing where to avoid engaging in acts of theft, robbery.
Meanwhile, Elgon Police spokesperson Taitika Rogers stressed that efforts are underway to engage the border leadership to ensure that every rider learns proper road usage.
The irresponsible use of the users of the roads, more so the drivers and the riders, we've seen that in just within less than 2 months, just January and February, we registered quite a number of fatals. We are going to link up with the stakeholders in this industry, mostly in Elgon region here, the leadership of the riders, so that we can ask them to make sure that they work with us to ensure that people are supposed to be on the road. There are those ones who are entitled to be on this road.
The coordinator, Mbale Operators and Riders Association, Adam Mafabi, says much as border industry employs a big percentage of people, it is infiltrated by bad characters that have tarnished their image, but express readiness to root out such characters.
Industry yajjamu abantu bangi ne bajuzo omujuzo bintu bingi ebituyisa ababi. Tulina abaana abavuga piki amala wiiki namba tananiza jaketi ekyo nakikuyisa okubeera omubi. Ne tubeeramu n'abaana abasibuka empisa nti kasoma mugamba nkutwala n'agamba tontwala n'amuvuma lwakuba talinye ku piki ye. Naye tulina enteekateeka ey'okugyamu abantu abo.
Story by Yiga Muhammad for UBC News.
Transact and win money after money with Airtel Money. 1.5 billion shillings in cash prizes up for grabs. The more you transact, the higher your chances of winning. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
It's time to teach. Schools are open. In these days of COVID-19, teachers are not only giving knowledge, but protecting themselves and their students from the virus. As a teacher, You must ensure that students follow the set SOPs of always maintaining a distance of 2 meters from others in classrooms, dormitories, entertainment halls, school vans and playgrounds, wearing a washed and clean mask every day that covers their mouths and noses, and regularly washing their hands with soap and water. In addition to that, you must counsel students about stigma related to COVID-19 and discourage them from violence. Any violence against students from classmates, teachers or parents should be reported immediately to a school administrator or senior woman or man teacher for correction and further guidance. Ensuring everyone's safety is key, so make sure students are out of class by the official closing time. Let's share knowledge, not COVID-19. This message is supported by the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education and Sports, and UNICEF. Stay safe.
Welcome back, and now in the world of sports, Uganda Athletics Federation this weekend hosted its 28th National Cross-Country Championship at the golf course in Tororo District. It attracted some of the best runners in the country and lived up to its billing.
The Eastern Uganda district of Tororo has hosted the 2022 National Cross Country Championship. It was a collection of the country's best runners, and despite the long layoff as a result of COVID-19, was worth watching.
It has been very successful, very entertaining, very electrifying, because we saw new champions. We saw Olympic champions beaten.
It was contested in 4 categories, with the junior main event won by Yeko Desmas and Martin Kiprotich in second, while Rogers Kibet was third. Police Athletics Club's Scarlett Chebet edged all in the 6-kilometer junior women, with the Uganda Wildlife Authority's Lois Chekemoy in close pursuit. The senior women's category was epic, to say the least, because almost all the country's top female runners turned up. Ultimately, Marceline Chelangat of Police Club finished ahead of all, including Sarah Chelangat in second, and Olympic steeplechase champion Peruth Chemutai in third.
So happy to be in Tororo cross country, especially after Olympic. I have some challenge in my knee. I feel some pain inside the knee, but I'm so happy today to be top 3. Yeah.
Uganda Wildlife Authority Club dominated the men's senior 10-kilometer, with Ali Chebures crossing first, followed by teammate Geoffrey Kusuro.
The race was not easy, but I managed to win.
He's the one. So what are your targets ahead of the season that has begun today officially?
I'm still targeting Commonwealth.
Excellence was rewarded with several cash prizes from MTN, while Lactic Sports offered brand new shoes to inspire the junior category winners in both genders. Brilliant performers will represent Uganda at world level later, but in the interim, local runners brace for the source of the Nile Marathon. John Barnes, Sentamo, reporting.
And that brings us to the end of our weekly roundup bulletin. Thank you for being a lovely audience. My name is Wadulo Mark Arnold, my producer. Thank you very much for putting this together, and have yourselves a lovely afternoon.